Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. The show's on fire today. Ray Hager's got the rundown.
Well, Sam, first we have Senator Mike McGinness of Fallon, the head of the Senate Taxation Committee. And then we have Senator Sandra Tiffany of Las Vegas, one of the most conservative lawmakers in the state of Nevada.
On the Power Pundit panel today, Greg Ferraro, Scott Bensing, and Andy Barbano. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Andy's not conservative.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Here at the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, water resources come from fresh, clean groundwater, approved by state permits. The water is pumped from wells to million-gallon storage tanks and then distributed to TRI companies. Another amenity is our investment in a state-of-the-art wastewater treatment plant. This disposal system converts waste to clean water for industrial applications. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
Coverage of Nevada Newsmakers from the state legislature in Carson City is brought to you by the Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
This is a special edition of Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, welcome to the program, Senator Mike McGinness, who's the head of Senate Taxation. Welcome to the program. It's a good pleasure to have you here, as always.
Thank you.
Yesterday was the last Taxation Committee meeting. You gave the senators baseball bats with their names on them. What was the significance of that?
You know, really, I was hoping that the committee wouldn't turn on me with them, but it's always tough to find something unique. And my son works at SBC Park, and he has access to somebody who makes bats, and so I got everybody's signature and put it on there, and I just thought it was a unique gift. But it may come in handy toward the end of the session.
Well, Senator, now that the taxation meetings are over, what does the live entertainment tax look like? There's no brothels, but are sporting events taxed on that? You
know, I'll be very candid with you. Since the bill left the Senate Taxation Committee, it's been changed a little bit, and I haven't had an update. So I will feign stupidity on this one because I can't give you the latest update.
Okay.
You know, what is your thought on the brothels being exempted?
I was perfectly happy with them in there. I thought, you know, if it's a source of revenue, and the way we had it, it was going to stay within the counties, and some of those counties that actually that allow prostitution could use the money, very candidly.
Do you see this legitimacy issue as being real?
I don't. I still support letting each county decide, and I don't think that gives them any more legitimacy if they're taxed or not. I mean, I think the fact that they get a business license is some sort of legitimacy anyway.
Senator, you're also a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and that committee killed the idea of a state lottery to help fund education. Do you think the lottery could possibly come back as an amendment tacked on a bill, trying to sneak it through at the last minute?
Absolutely. In the last 2 weeks, anything is possible. You know, we also we killed both the sales tax holiday. Well, we sent one sales tax holiday bill to finance, and the other one that was actually killed in Senate taxation because I thought, in my opinion, I don't know what the rest of the committee thought, but the bottom line was not worth the effort that went into it. But I understand the sales tax holiday bill that the Speaker has actually already been amended into another bill that will be coming back across. So we'll get another chance at it.
Okay.
All right. So at this point, where do you think the bank's appeal for tax relief is going to be?
You know, that's about a $20 million number per year, and so that may not happen. What I'm trying to do is at least get that per branch fee taken off. What it would do is I think it hinders banks expanding, and especially into rural communities. There's been some talk about making it not apply to rural counties, but I think if it's right for the rurals, it's right for everybody else too.
Senator, you represent a lot of the rurals, including Hawthorne.
Yes.
Now, recently, the people of Hawthorne received some real bad news when the U.S. Army depot down there was on the base closure list. Hawthorne is also suffering because of the plight of Walker Lake. It's shrinking. It's getting more salty. What is the future of that Nevada community?
You know, I think, and we're working on a resolution to support Hawthorne and also the Air National Guard base in Reno to try to get them off that BRAC list. But it is, if the depot down there closes, it'll be have serious consequences. I think there's nearly 200 jobs, and that would be a real tough blow to Hawthorne and Mineral County. And I think anything we can do to shore them up, we'll do it.
You know, I got an email from a person at the base that claimed that a lot of the numbers that were published from the government were incorrect, and so hopefully our congressional delegation will be able to point out some of these mistakes in the plan.
Right, and I serve along with Senator Matthews and Assemblyman Parks and Grady on the Military Advocacy Committee, and although we're a little slanted, we're going to try to get the right information out there and show just how much impact and what a resource Hawthorne is.
Senator, let's talk about the Mineral County School District and your home school district, the Churchill County School District. What will the property tax cap that was passed, a month ago, do to those school districts? Are they in trouble because of that?
I think Mineral County more than Churchill. Churchill County continues to be a growing community, not as fast as some of the others, but it's been a slow, steady growth. Mineral County actually losing property tax values and losing population, and we found that putting a cap on a negative number is going to mean a further negative number, and that's why we're still working on having a fund that those communities like Hawthorne or White Pine County or Lincoln that are adversely affected could come to keep their whatever school district afloat, or maybe they have a bond for a library that they can't meet because of the reduction in the property tax. So we're still trying to get that on.
It's going to be a busy 2 weeks for you.
It's going to be interesting.
Mike McGinness, thanks so much for being here. We always appreciate it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
My family started this business 27 years ago. We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof.
Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Your best value in sight is here for you to see. From frames to lenses to eye exams, you're covered A to Z. Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
Davis Optical Centers, with 2 locations in Reno and Sparks.
Davis Optical, your best value in sight.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Senator Sandra Tiffany from Clark County. It's a pleasure to have you here on the program.
Thank you.
You were the lone voice of caution yesterday on the streamlined sales tax bill because of the impact of taxing internet sales could have on the mom and pop businesses that sell products on eBay. Do you think this issue will pass nationally?
I think that they're working towards that. But it is complicated because there's, 5,500 taxing districts. And the internet is really very tiny, small mom and pops that work out of their house that, maybe sell 30 items a month. And if all of a sudden now you have to have a 20% increase because of the administrative overhead, it's a real problem.
And you think that would be the kind of cost you'd be looking at?
Oh, I think, yeah, absolutely. But it all depends on how it's implemented. So if we're going to be sitting on the national board, what my warning was yesterday is if you're going to be sitting on the national board from Nevada, our representative from Nevada, please take this message to the national board because there are millions of small sellers on the internet now.
Well, Senator, earlier in the session, you canceled your contract with the state to sell surplus state vehicles on eBay.
Well, it was actually unclaimed property and surplus property.
Okay, but you canceled your contract after some news reports were published in the Gazette-Journal. Do you feel that you did the right thing, or would you do the same thing if you had to do it over again?
Well, I followed all of the procedures you're supposed to follow to have a contract. It was a pilot project for about 4 months. It was under $10,000, and so that the approval process, it went from the Legislative Counsel Bureau. The Attorney General reviewed it. The Governor's office was aware of it. We went through administration. You do everything right. So it was the reason of perception that I chose to not proceed with the contract.
Why do you think Stacey Jennings from the Ethics Commission went after you?
I think that is an issue that we're addressing this time, is what can someone who's potentially going to review a problem, what really can they say? And where does it cross over their own ethical problems at that point? So I think we are addressing that. It's okay if, in my opinion, if an executive director of an ethics commission talks about the law, but it's not okay when they weigh in on an opinion whether you broke a law or not. That's way over the top.
Would you like to see her censured in some way, Ms. Jones?
I still think that it's okay, as an executive director of the Ethics Commission, to talk about the law. It's okay to talk about statutes. It's okay to talk about process. But it's not okay to weigh in an opinion whether you're guilty or not. That's not okay.
Let's talk about the Clark County School District. You've been a very vocal advocate for breaking up that district. It's the 5th largest in the country.
4th now.
Is it 4th?
No, it's 5th. You're right. It's 5th.
Okay. Do you think it's going to be easier to break it up now that Carlos Garcia is leaving?
Well, nothing is very easy about breaking up the Clark County School District. That's why I've been involved with it for at least 10 years. What we want to do this time is not to say, gee, is it okay to have a school district of 300,000 kids or not? It's, okay, let's have the plan. How do you break it up? How many districts do you have? How many kids do you have in the district? What do you do if there's a civil rights question? What do you do for dividing up the assets? What do you do for the bond indebtedness? So we want to actually answer those tough questions and then say, okay, here's how we do it, and bring it back. But there is one state statute that needs to be changed, and that was set in 1955, that says one county, one school district. And you know, if you take a look at Hawthorne, for example, or Monroe County, if you take a look at Esmeralda County, they have 40 or 50 kids in a whole school district. So I really think even that the whole state really needs to be looked at for school district sizes now, but Clark County particularly because it's supersized.
Okay, but aren't you just going to see a dramatic rise in the administrative costs if you have more bureaucracies?
Well, first of all, they already have that. Right now there are 5 regional districts that have superintendents, that have their whole staff, that have their buildings now. And what's left to be centralized is some of the standards and some of the setting curriculum and that type of thing. That's still centralized. And I figure that if you can serve 300,000 kids now with X amount of administrators, and you still have 300,000 kids, why are you going to increase administrators? So that would not be my point of view.
Senator, recently University Chancellor Jim Rogers wrote a letter to the school board in Clark County asking them not to consider anybody who is currently employed in the school district as the new superintendent. Do you feel do you think he's overstepping his bounds? Do you think he has a good idea?
Well, there's a direct correlation between the kids in the Clark County School District and the university. And I think that when we want a lot of our kids to go to that university, stay in this state and get educated in this state and work in this state, I think there's absolutely, it's within his purview to weigh in on an opinion. And I happen to agree with him. I like new blood. I like new ideas. Some of the regional superintendents that have been around for a while, you know, it's business as usual. They haven't been outside of our district to bring in new ideas. And I think deconsolidation is one of them they have to talk about with the new superintendent they hire.
You know, one of my problems with this is that, you know, we have a lot of great people in the Silver State and coming up through the ranks, and I think it just sends out a horrible message that you're working within the system, but when the plum job opens up, that we don't consider, you know, somebody who is already here for that position.
Well, I think that they will be considered, and I think new blood will be considered too.
Okay. Sandra Tiffany, a pleasure to have you here. Must point out, as always, that Jim Rogers, in addition to being the University Chancellor, is also the owner of Sunbelt Broadcasting, which this program airs on Channel 3 and Channel 4 in Reno, and also on Channel 123. Thanks very much for being here. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Something spectacular has taken wing not far from Reno or Lake Tahoe, and never far from your mind. An escape of fine dining and legendary golf. Introducing the resort at Red Hawk. And at the center of it all, we've feathered our nest with new villas that have elevated Red Hawk to the status of a premier resort. The Resort at Red Hawk, a beautiful new arrival in northern Nevada.
For more than a decade, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has been helping the community embrace conservation as a way of life. That includes replacing more than 50 million square feet of grass with water-smart landscaping. During the worst drought on record, watering restrictions and tough landscaping codes have reduced the community's water use by billions of gallons, even as thousands of new residents were moving into Nevada. That's smart water management, and that's our promise to Nevada.
So, who do you use for workers' comp?
Pro Group Management.
Ah, I've heard some good things about them.
Oh, you bet. Employee background checks, safety training, claim seminars. Oh, and here's the great part. If you have an issue, they work for you, not against you.
Sounds perfect. And expensive.
Well, that's the best part. They saved me 30%. I've heard they've saved others 50%.
Works for me. Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, time for the Power Pundit panel today. Andy Barbano is here. He heads up NevadaLabor.com. Greg Ferraro joins us with the Ferraro Group, and Scott Bensing, Chief of Staff for Senator John Ensign. Well, quite a week in Washington, eh?
Yes, sir.
The Senate, it still looks a little uncertain with this nuclear option that seemed to go away and maybe is coming back.
You're speaking of the constitutional option.
I knew that
I don't
was
know
gonna
if it's, well, this was all a precursor, obviously, to a Supreme Court fight. I'm not sure what any of this means when you need extraordinary circumstances in order to filibuster a judge. We've redefined that in the last 3 days. Priscilla Owen was filibusterable, if that's a word, 3 days ago. She's not now. So we'll see when and if we have a Supreme Court vacancy. We'll see if this agreement holds. I'm not sure it is as good for the country as everybody has said.
Scott, why do Republicans, before they always referred to this as the nuclear option, now that's been erased from the text and now it's the constitutional option?
Frank Luntz told him to change the word.
Why?
I thought that was a question directed at me.
Right, well, Andy popped in. So.
Don't ask me to apologize, I never do.
Go ahead,
Sign of weakness.
Let's move on.
Because it's a constitutional issue. That's the way the Senate has operated for 214 years until Tom Daschle changed the rules by filibustering judges. That's why.
Greg, was this a victory for Senator Reid? Even though he's not really coming out publicly and claiming it?
I think it's too early to tell, or for anybody to be assessed victory or defeat. We've got to run the course, and how this special circumstances applied to these judges, you've got to wait and see.
There's high irony brewing in the House of Representatives. The House yesterday voted out a bill on embryonic stem cell research, which the president has threatened to veto, and angry lawmakers in the Senate and in the House are talking about filibustering the bill in the Senate to keep it from going to the president. So in 24 hours, turnabout has become fair play.
Well, Andy, there's a big difference between judicial filibusters, which had never happened in the history of our republic, and legislative filibusters.
Scott, do you think there's just a gridlock in our federal governmental system?
I think there's a lot of partisanship. I don't think there's gridlock. We've been able to, thus far, in a few months, get a class action lawsuit bill done, get a bankruptcy bill done. We're going to get a defense authorization bill done next, after the recess. So I think there's a lot of things happening. The partisanship over the judicial filibusters has made it a little more difficult because tensions are a little higher.
Has that disturbed the relationship between Senator Ensign and Senator Reid?
I don't think so. I think Senator Reid's position and leadership obviously has a lot more of the things he says make it into the paper. It certainly raised his profile and is, I think it made it a little bit more difficult, but their relationship's pretty solid.
Okay, let's change subjects to state politics here. We've got a situation where Pete Arnott is openly supporting Speaker Perkins for the governorship. You've got Jim Gibbons, who is being rejected by the governor as the candidate of choice. He's openly going out and trying to recruit other people. We're going to see a lot of crossing party lines in this next gubernatorial race.
Well, I think it's entirely possible. And remember, we're a very small state, and personalities and relationships tend to transcend politics. At least that's always been the rule of the realm. I think it's really too early to try to size up any particular candidate. I think they've got to get through the summer and get through the fall and see who has the ability to catch fire and who can raise money.
All candidates for governor, if they hope to be viable, have to be members of the gaming party, and that's what you're talking about.
Who's not in the gaming party, Andy?
I don't know of one that's not.
Okay, you've been dying to bring up Newsweek here for the last week. Why don't you go
I was just, I can't understand how the president has taken this as such an issue, or his staff has taken this as such an issue, and I can't understand how it's caused the death of Afghanis when this was already reported May 1st about with the disrespect to the Quran, flushing it down the toilet. It was reported in the New York Times on May 1st. It's reported in the London Mail. The only thing I can think of is that the Iraqis are still getting their subscription to Newsweek, but the London Mail and the New York Times subscriptions have run out. Why has this all of a sudden become such an issue where people are dying over it?
Newsweek's editors proved to be a bunch of cowards. The story was substantially true. Their source backed up on them, and I agree with Bill O'Reilly, who said that source should be outed with his picture on the cover of Newsweek for burning them on the story. But the story was true. Newsweek just caved under pressure from the Republican right-wing media machine, and I think Newsweek's a bunch of cowards for not standing by a story that was true.
Scott, you?
I don't know that there's any substantiation that the story was true. Ray, you're a reporter. You know not to go to print with a story that has an anonymous source and can't be backed up by anybody. And that's what they did. They apologized. They retracted the story. And the guy who wrote it apologized and said it was a mistake.
The mistake was that and the problem was that the source reneged on being able to qualify the
on where
situation.
he saw it,
but
not that it wasn't true.
He saw it.
On where he saw it.
And this was apparently a very reliable source that had been used in the past.
On other matters, not necessarily on that report.
I think the bottom line is, when you're going to report news on such a sensitive subject, you damn well better be careful.
Well, and the way they played it was almost as a sidebar. It wasn't even the main story. So
you see how hot tensions are, and you have to be careful and triple check and quadruple check your sources.
Well, we go with at least 2 on this program. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
High-tech companies demand perfect world amenities. They require clean, reliable power, state-of-the-art fiber optic communications, and clean water sources. In a perfect world, companies would have immediate access to rail and interstate freeways. There would be 4-lane expressways that shorten shipping times and provide convenient commute routes for valued employees. Well, the future is now, and it's here. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
My family started this business 27 years ago. We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof.
Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
If it's fun, it's here at the Peppermill, the $100,000 video-themed slot celebration, with more winners each week, 100 random winners every Monday and Wednesday, and more cash prizes, $6,000 random drawings every Friday, plus chances to win up to $1,000 in free slot play on Mr. Money's Challenge. You'll have more fun with the Peppermill's video-themed slot celebration, now worth over $100,000.
The slots that rock are at the Peppermill. Where are you winning?
Thanks to an ongoing commitment by America's mining companies, more than 2 million acres already have been reclaimed. To learn more about reclamation or other aspects of mining, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
And coming up tomorrow, Ray?
Well, Sam, we have the grand poobah of gaming, Bill Bible, the head of the Nevada Resort Association.
It'll be a hot show. You don't want to miss it.